All right, today we're going to talk about a really cool tool in our mixing toolbox called parallel compression. If you've ever heard somebody talk about parallel processing or parallel compression, what they're referring to is the method of taking one signal, duplicating that signal, and then manipulating both of those signals and processing them in different ways, and then blending them back together in order to form something completely different. So that's what we're talking about when we refer to parallel compression. But if that didn't make any sense to you, don't worry. I'm going to get into a project and we're going to talk about this. I'll show you exactly how to set it up in a session and exactly how it works and how to use it. But first, let's talk about why we use compression to start with in a mix. So the purpose of compression is to reduce the dynamic range of a specific signal. So if we have a vocal track and that vocal is really loud in some parts and really quiet in other parts, we can use a compressor to reduce that range, and that helps it fit better into the mix. It helps it blend better with those other tracks. So now that we kind of understand what compression is, let's get into parallel compression. I'm going to open up a project here and show you exactly what this looks like. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to let you listen to this vocal track here.
We'll never be the same, and you're the one to blame, and but not the time for games, and never caught your name, but I feel letting me go.
Okay, so it sounds pretty good by itself. This vocal track has a bunch of different plugins on it. It's already been processed. It sounds pretty good by itself, but I think there's something that we can do to make this vocal kind of come out front a little bit more, and we're going to use parallel compression to do this. So I want to show you how this works. Okay, so I've got my main vocal track right here. And the way that we set up a parallel compression scenario is we take this track and we're going to use a send to basically duplicate it onto this Vox PC or parallel compression track over here. Okay, so I'm going to take a send and I'm going to create it right there. Now, the key thing with this is to make sure that the send is pre-fader. We want to make sure that no matter what we do on this fader on the main channel, the same level of signal is going to be sent to this parallel bus. So that's why we make that pre-fader. So that's what we work with the first track. Now for the second track, we're going to take a compressor here. We're going to open this up, and as you can see, this is already set up to be a parallel compression bus. So I've got a really aggressive ratio. This is basically a limiter at this point. A 50-to-1 ratio has a threshold to get about 8 to 10 dB of gain reduction. And then it has a fast attack and a medium release. So we want, the whole purpose of this compressor is to really squeeze all of the dynamics out of this vocal track. And typically that's not really what we're going for with compression. Typically we want it to be very natural and very gentle, but that's actually what we have going on this first track. When we do parallel compression, the objective on that second track is a little bit different. So we set up this compressor to be very, very aggressive, take all the dynamics out of it, and get about 8 to 10 dB of gain reduction there. So that's what I have set up on this track right here. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to play the same vocal you just heard, and I'm going to start to kind of fade this parallel compression bus in, and we'll just see if we notice any difference. Let's listen.
We'll never be the same, and you're the one to blame, and but not the time for games, and never caught your name, but I feel letting me go. Girl, I'm feeling like a free throw, and you know that I know we both know it's better if we move fast. It could change like the weather. Would you lead me on if you had it your way?
All right, so you may notice that when I turn that vocal parallel bus on, that vocal just kind of jumps forward in the mix a little bit. And that's the result of parallel compression. So what exactly are we doing when we parallel compress something? It's a really interesting sound. And you might be tempted to think at first, well, he just turned the fader up. It just got a little bit louder. It did get slightly louder, but there's more to it than just that going on. So what we're really doing with parallel compression is we're increasing the RMS or average volume of the vocal. Now, I'm not saying we're just turning up the vocal and making it louder. I'm saying we're increasing the RMS or average volume of the vocal. So those are two different things. So here's why this is important. Compression has pros and cons. When we compress a track, we get reduced dynamic range, which is helpful. Like I said at the very beginning, it's helpful because it helps that track fit in the mix a little bit better. But the con is that we lose that natural dynamic. And sometimes we really want that. So we can use parallel compression because on the main track, we can set it up to sound very natural, very pleasing. And then we can use the parallel bus to really squeeze all of that dynamic out of it. And then when we blend them together, we get the best of both worlds. We maintain that natural dynamic on one hand, while also getting the benefits of really aggressive compression on the other. When we blend that together, we get this really pleasing sound called parallel compression. So let me just A/B this one more time so you can hear what this sounds like. Let's just take a listen here.
We'll never be the same, and you're the one to blame, and but not no time for games, and never caught your name, but I feel letting me go. Girl, I'm feeling like a free throw, and you know that I know we both know it's better if we move fast. It could change like the weather.
All right, so again, you notice it's not really getting louder. It's just kind of jumping out a little bit more somehow. And that's the beauty of parallel compression. And another really cool thing is you can use this trick on vocals. You can use it on any instrument. You can really use it wherever, and it works very, very well to bring that track kind of out front a little bit. It's a really cool trick. So hopefully that helps you kind of understand how to use this, how to set it up, and now you can learn to use it in your own mixes. So hopefully that was helpful for you. If you're a new mixer and you're trying to learn the basics of mixing audio, I have a guide on my website, themixingprocess.com. It's called the 7-step mix, and it'll walk you through the 7 steps that I take in every single mix that I do. It'll give you a great systematic process so that you don't miss any of those important steps that you really need in order to have a solid mix. If that sounds like it'd be helpful for you, you can check it out on my website, themixingprocess.com. If you have any questions about this, I'd love to have a conversation with you. You can ask them in the comments below or contact me directly from my website, again, themixingprocess.com. Thanks for watching. We will see you on the next one.